Today we are looking at some of the prototype Bravura trumpets that are just being released, and we'll zoom in here close and see. This one is Bravura number 11, and this one is finished in a gray MJF, which means it was printed on an HP printer, and the stainless steel clips were also printed. Those were laser sintered on a different machine. The modular finger rings match. They're the same color, the same print. The stainless steel lead pipe is 316L. This one does include the VGR system, and it includes 8 of the inserts. This configuration is lead pipe 6, Bell 1G LT, and I'm showing off 2 Bravuras in this video, but I want to tell you a little bit about why we have them in the first place. Why did we create the prototypes, and why didn't we just go straight to production? And that's simply because, I'll turn this around, that's simply because it's really not possible to make all the changes and iterations and variations and experiment with all the different things that are necessary when you're creating a new trumpet to just jump straight into production. So as it stands right now, I think we have 16 official prototypes, and then it looks like we'll probably have at least 5 more beyond that as we continue experimenting. But we got through the first 16, and that was enough to put the full production, the Bravura into full production. And as you can see, I've got another one back here, and we're going to look at that one in just a second. Let me turn it around again. This is number 11. I was going to release number 10 today, but I forgot that I needed to adjust a pinky hook or ring, and I'll show you a little bit about that. So this one has a rail system on it, and if you've heard about that, it basically means that there's a T slot in this finger ring, and there's a T rail here with holes in it, and you can put it in different positions. Now if you look right now, you can see your fingers could almost collide with that hook rest. And that's why we do prototyping, is because I had to adjust the design of the pinky ring rests and hook rests to compensate for that problem. So the finished version actually looks different. Check this out. This is prototype 11. Now let's move over to prototype 14. See how that ring is different? So now I changed it so that it's not so close, and when you go adjusting things, you have a lot more adjustment room. So if you like this one better and you're looking at prototype number 11, I'll just say it's an extra charge to get the version you just saw on this horn, and you would get all 3 of these finger rings with this horn. But if you want to buy any others, they're not real expensive. I think a new pinky ring hook type thing like this is probably going to cost you about $25 to buy a new one and put it on there, and they just slide right on and you screw it together. And the third ring, this one has a little set screw that just basically clamps this around the tube, and because it does, you can find the position where you want it to be. And with this style, because there's no rail, it's not a solid connection, then you're going to use a tiny dab of rubber cement inside there, or silicone adhesive, and the same for the first. And then you just tighten it down where you want it. And if you need to move it someday, you can. You'll just need to use a tiny bit of rubber cement a second time, and so on and so forth. But that's a minor inconvenience, considering you can change these out to any size. As we produce new shapes and new designs, you can get those and just pull the original off and put the new ones on. So this is prototype 11. It was made in July, and it is a killer lead horn. I will play it for you in the next video. I did not bring the tripod over here to film, I forgot it. But this one is up on the website. It was released a few minutes ago, and it is extremely durable. It's the kind of horn that would probably last twice as long as a pro trumpet that you could buy anywhere else, simply because of the design and because that nylon is so robust. But it also is much more efficient. Let's go back over to number 14. And number 14, pretty much everything about it is the same except for the lead pipe and the bell. And it has a newer version of the bell crook protection. It has a newer version of the finger rings, like I mentioned. And these braces on the top actually did change. You're not going to see much of a difference, but the way they fit is different. So those did change. And this tuning slide protector also changed. Now with both of these instruments, you see there's a window right here in the nylon. You can choose to have it custom engraving there, and we can engrave it for you before it ships out. We're playing with engraving in here, so if you want to try that, we could probably do that as well. We prefer to do that on our prototype. And there's one more window here, a good spot for engraving. If you don't want engraving, that's perfectly fine, but I'm just letting you know that is an option on all of our horns, and we can engrave after the horn is built. And you can see this one does have the same windows as the other. One other thing to note on number 11 is originally it was an XVT. And XVT means the V is the Venturi gap receiver, so it's this, the VGR. And the X is the extra protection on either the tuning slide or the bell crook, or in this case, both. Some have both and some have just the bell crook or just the tuning slide. It really depends on what you want, but these prototypes have it. That's what the X means, and the T is for tracking. This trumpet originally had a tracking device inside the tuning slide, and because it was experimental and we changed things and we tried different things, that tuning slide eventually ended up on a different trumpet. So this one is no longer an XVT, even though it's marked as such. It's just an XV. If you want the tracking, you can get it. It's just an upcharge. And the same with number 14. The exact same thing is true in terms of the tuning slide. You could get the T, but this one is just engraved XV. And the lead pipe and bell on number 14, I have to check it out because I don't remember. Looks like that's lead pipe 2, bell 11R, which means it's really, really big, wide open. And I was playing this earlier with a client, and it is a huge sounding horn. It would be perfect for jazz combo, solo work, or any kind of a situation where you don't need to blend with standard trumpets, but maybe you want to sound like bigger and warmer than you normally would on trumpet. And that's without even changing anything in your mouthpiece, because the lead pipe and the bell are very big. It produces a much larger sound profile. So these are the two horns that we are releasing right now. And like I said, we will have many more. So throughout the weekend, we will be offering at least 8 more prototypes and a couple other horns in addition to that. So watch for our emails, watch YouTube, watch social media. All those places are going to have announcements where I'm going to be playing these horns, showing off the intricacies of how they were designed, and since these ones were somewhat experimental, showing you why they were and what was different about them. Number 14 was really not so much experimental as much as finding the path to full production. So 14, 15, 16, those 3 horns are almost identical to the finished ones that were on the Kickstarter. And number 11 here and 10 and a lot of the other ones, they do have little experimental things. For instance, the slide stop on all of the Bravura trumpets, it just has a screw here. And this one did not have a working slide stop mechanism, and it's hidden back there. You can't really see it, but I did by hand carve out an area where the third slide stop does work with the screw, and not all of them have that. So that's something that's a little better about this one. And for those reasons, you're gonna find that all of the Bravura prototypes, the pricing is gonna vary based on what I think is the real value. Like for instance, you know, that pinky hook is a little close. You can move it out one more position so it won't be as close. But if you move it in any further, you can't really adjust it because you'll run into that. I consider that a flaw worth giving you a discount. And not a $25 discount, more like a couple $100 extra. And the same with this, because it wasn't fully designed the way I'd like it to be. Again, we knock a couple $100 off. And because it's an experimental color, you know, all those things. So really, you're gonna save on this horn in particular, probably over $1,000. And on this one, you're not gonna save as much because it's almost like the production model. So hopefully that makes sense. As you guys see the videos, ask me questions. I'm happy to help you. And we're going to have a lot of fun this weekend because I'm going to show you a lot of horns.